means that Gambit survive with every player. And so now we could see a mid rush and a banana rush from Gambit, because Gambit will know that it's incredibly likely that there is just Glocks right now. It doesn't make sense for QB5 to buy anything in this round. So here it is. You can see it happens. They'll go for that mid push. This is a way that it does actually work out when your opponents aren't likely to force buy and absolutely smash you in. So as we can see, it's going fantastically well. Boomich actually surprisingly getting a kill with the Glock there. But in the previous round, Gambit it was a flawless round for them. Oh my god, Boomich with the Glock!
That was a burst.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm having 1.6 flashbacks right there.
Adren, how does he get 3 bursts on you and you don't kill him?
That is quite mental, isn't it?
9-9, and Gambit have done what they needed to do. They won the pistol. They didn't get wrecked by a force buy or an eco. No 12-6 or 6-12 rather, since we're talking from Gambit's perspective. The score is all tied up, and now the test really begins for QB Fire. They've done well to get to this point. They've got most of what they want. They've got Waterfalls on AWP, but he's no Kevlar, which is curious. Inferno is not necessarily the easiest map to AWP on. And on the T side, oh, Junka standing in the flames. And that's a great response to an AWP no armor. Get that early pick in.
Yeah, that was very brave. Found a timing, very, very fast timing. Question now is, what do Gambit do? I think, Gambit, they have a UMP, a FAMAS, they don't have a lot of grenades. There's a pretty big argument for them to try to make a play somewhere. But also at the same time, stacking a bomb site could actually be a really good way to go. So we'll see what they can do. There's obviously still a lot of time left in the round. And I think we'll see one player potentially rotating towards B, or actually, are they just going to stay 2 to a side? Okay, so the play is the aggression here down Banana. Nice pick off there onto Jumka. That changes things a bit. You even up the numbers. There's almost no utility on the Ts. They can now play, or actually they will actually understand now the top mid push is coming. So rotation in from Gambit.
What is Waterfalls doing?
I'm not sure exactly, James.
Standing in the smoke with no armor. Interesting. It's a full rotation from Gambit. They've got everybody towards the B bomb site. There are 43 seconds left, and it looks like they've made the right play. But will they hold on to this? Because surely as time ticks, yeah, Mo starts to run back towards B and then back towards A as the grenades come in. But where are the personnel? There they are, Fitch spotting 2 players, getting traded by Kvik from the balcony position. Time's running out, though. QB5 have to press on. Waterfalls, 8 HP, no Kevlar. And he's the last man standing, and he won't get very far. Gambit survive, only with 2 players, but they get an AWP for their troubles and an AK-47.
And for those of you at home as well that are interested about CT setups and stuff, just looking at the Adren and Dozier bait setup on the bomb site, that's a very common one. We see that the first contact is taken around the default bomb plant boxes from Dozier. Then you have up on the crate in the corner is Adren, who covers the angles should they try to push him. Here it is. It's a very, very strong and effective bait setup if you're covered from arch side. And that's what Counter-Strike is about. It's about creating these bait setups. It's about creating distractions and splitting up defenses and so on. And when you don't have time, you can't really do it effectively. You just have to just walk into it. And that obviously is problematic. So 10-9 is the score as a result. And Gambit looking like they're going to stabilize here.
I was going to say something really intelligent, Dan. But then I forgot.
But just pretend.
Then I forgot. Never mind. Oh, Jimka's pick in that previous round. I think on the buy round, that might make Gambit's first half of every round more expensive. The fact that he was able to run there and take that pick may mean we see more grenades in the early round from Gambit. But once again, Jimka's managed to make a forward position and he's caught Hobbit off guard. He will get traded by Mo, but Mo's got to fear a rush now.
Was it Hobbit before as well?
Yeah.
That he killed? Oh man, poor Hobbit. He's going to be pretty angry about that one. But that timing, obviously, is so sick. We can see the movement there. He understands that he's able to duck behind the wooden board and actually be undetected because he's so fast. His spawn is obviously very good. So that's something to look at as well. Those timings, and that's something that Gambit will slowly adjust to, as you say, James. So that's maybe a bit gimmicky from that perspective. And should he try it again, it's very likely he'll get smacked down pretty hard.
Well, I wouldn't say it's gimmicky because what he's doing is this is a problem. You must solve this problem. And they're probably going to solve it with more investment in grenades and personnel at the beginning of the round, which makes a Gambit less equipped later on in the round than they otherwise might have been. So he's giving a Gambit an issue that they must solve. This smoke on the balcony, super powerful, especially on LAN against UK teams in a pistol round, because they always rush balcony. So stand there, sit there, crouch for 5-7, body block. Can do it on cobblestone as well when you think there's a force buy coming in through the doors. Put a smoke down there. body block and spam away. I prefer the knife. Gambit 11 to the 9 of QB5. Both teams back on the bye. Gambit confident enough to continue just with Hobbit and Mo on Banana, so they won't be conditioned by Jimka's shenanigans early in the round. They will continue as normal. That's a big grenade bouncing into second mid. That's very reasonable damage indeed.
Yeah, looks like QB5 just want to go up into A. Just no qualms about it. Just go for a straight up split. There's no messing around with map control elsewhere. There's already a player, Mo, sort of going to be cheating his way through Speedway pretty quickly and just holding on to that position, because it does look like QB5 may be trying to take control of that area of the arch as well. So right now, yeah, Gambit are a bit curious, you know, what exactly QB5's game plan is here, because they also have no presence on Banana. So it's not as if they really want to split onto B. Okay, you really want to be able to have one player in Banana at least for that. But as far as Gambit understand, that may be the case. So this is really interesting. They've used a huge amount of utility, and all they've gotten from it so far is they've pushed the defense back, and they've got Valina in this position. But Adren's looking for it, but he can't find it. Brilliant play there from Valina, and now the push to B comes.
And they will get pinched from CT spawn, which really splits the only two people who were there anyway. Hobbit gets a Molotov down, and QB Fire are running away. That's so curious, but they're pulling Dozier into the library position, and Valina's waiting for him back towards the A site. Now it's Fitch alone, so it's gone from a 5 versus 2 to a 5 versus 1. QB playing the Gambit fiddle at the moment. Will Fitch get traded? He's done 2, he's done 3. That is massive from Fitch. He's buying time for the rotation as well. He can't get the 4th, but he's left Boomich on 13 HP. Valina's still cutting off rotations though.
So sick from Fish. Kobe, just so close, but he manages to make it work. Down to 19. First bullet wins. Where is Boomich? That's the big question for Hobbit. He has to take some gambles here. He can't check everything. He's got to make the right read now. With the bomb on the default spot, it looks like it's planted for Apps, and it's a very easy bait there for Boomich. Perfectly done. Playing the mind games, but still, this play from Fitch, almost taking down every single player by himself. Expert work, and oh, he was so close on Boomich as well. It's an insane round from just the rotations of QB Fire, and also using all their utility just to place one man in CT. I think Gambit were just utterly confused. Divide
is the call on QB Fire, and you've got to be brave to make rotations like that. That is crazy, but it was such an interesting round with the player in CT just waiting. So horrible for Adren. He was getting flashed through the library door as with the player lurking towards Arch. Nasty round for him, but the CTs can still buy, and again, credit to Fitch for making that really expensive for QB Fire. Dozier will be up on the short position. Smoke's top mid for the time being, so QB Fire will have to bide their time, and QB5 don't have all the grenades in the world at this point. Minute 20 on the clock. And they've got a bunch of smokes. One molly, one flash. That one flash to rule them all. So they'll be limited in how they fake, if they choose to later on.
This has made things very interesting. I have no idea where this one's going to go at this point. Really close game. Very even. Neither team has any economy. So this is a very, very important swing round. Indeed. Some noise here towards Banana. Nothing as far as presence is concerned towards the A side of the map. And you can see Hobbit goes for the information play, but they're still behind the smoke. And there's no vision on top mid. So once again, Gambit have no idea what is exactly happening right now. They're just saying, well, we don't want to take the risk. We're just going to play very passive positions and try to rely on these basic setups.
30-second mark. Kvik is top mid, looking to engage Adren through the smoke. Meanwhile, QB Fire pushing into B, but it seems the B play will come in through before the A play, so he may lurk and try to flank the rotation. He's dueling with Dozier, and Dozier will pick that off, but where are the CTs towards the B bomb site? Adren fighting as they push through the smoke, and the bomb's been lost. The bomb's on the wrong side of the smoke. They've made a booby, and that might cost them the round. Surely there is no room for recovery now. Waterfalls playing against the clock, holding an angle to try and save his own skin, but that is a colossal mistake. At round 23, you can't be pushing the smoke with a bomb.
Yeah, with that, you know, that much time to go, it seems very weird to push everyone. I mean, you can just take the site. There's only one guy there, then you get the plant. You play a favorable post plant. That is a massive blunder, frankly. I don't think you can really put it any other way. Well, I suppose you said it's a big booby, so there's that, I suppose. And right now, it's cost them so much. I mean, obviously, Waterfalls keeps a hold of his AWP, but look what they were reduced to. Their economy was in tatters. They needed that round win, and now it's Gambit with a really good arsenal and amount of utility to work off of. Let's see if QB5 can maybe throw a wrench into the works, though, with these pistols. Wouldn't be the first time.
This is the test for QB5, because winning that round probably puts them in the lead in this game.
Yeah.
And now they have right royally nosed it right up. And now they're in the worst position that they've been in this match, I think. So we'll see what they can do. Kevlar is plentiful. The AWP must deliver. Waterfall so far so good. Adren taking down quickly, taking up some real estate, looking for Hobbit on Speedway. He's reading the rotations and trying to open up the map, and he's doing that. They're pushing towards CT now. Mo is in B, though, and Dozier's pushing forward on A. This is absolute carnage. So many targets for Mo. Way too many targets. Perhaps he went too far. And that is... I don't know how they're doing this QB fire, but this is probably their round. Dozier with 5 HP, 1 versus 3. There's no way he checks all these angles. Run straight into the fire. How on earth did they do that?
Yeah, I think it's, again, just one of those spots where Gambit are just sort of misreading the way that QB want to move on the map. Because, okay, that pick, all right, that's fair enough. But when Waterfalls is just running into Arch side, that's an assumption from Gambit that it's 100% like a split onto A. Whereas that wasn't the case. QB actually had Waterfalls leading the charge. So it's so smart to actually have him try to get a free pick towards CT, because that push was so fast, he could catch someone in mid-rotation. So that was just a really good read from Waterfalls to go for that. And now the quick push with the pistols here, just no investment, wiped out almost immediately. And Gambit, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know where this is going to go, James. This is so, I feel like Gambit are struggling to read QB fire, like many teams have struggled to read Vega, actually.
I can't believe Gambit lost that round. Although credit to Waterfalls, he knows how much time he has. He knows what the CTs are likely to do. What would you do in my position? What would I do in your position, sorry? I would try and support the A guys so they don't get pinched. Run up Speedway. He's got the angle. And here we are, and now it's Gambit's turn to try and find a way back into this. You could argue it's even worse since Gambit are on the CT side. And you see the lack of money on both teams, to be fair, but QB are about to make some coin.
It is pretty insane. Like, I think it's one of those things as a player, you have this sort of internal clock where, like, I have 5 to 8 seconds to make this play and catch someone off guard on a rotation. From making this kill on Adren, I know that will trigger a rotation. If the players around this area of the map is going to take this much time, that's something I want to gamble on. And it's always very fun to see that, like, instinctual, those plays made off of pure instinct, like we saw from Waterfalls there. He had really good movement as well. He was trying to bunny hop around the corner to, like, just shave off any additional time. Wow, Gambit's in a lot of trouble here. This
is a match-losing territory for Gambit.
Yeah.
This is very late in the game now. Their money is still going to suck after this round. So it may be a double eco and giving up the lead. Well, the lead's gone already, but they'll be trailing. They pretty much have to eco unless they want to go for a crap buy, which I don't recommend. Tactical timeout has been called by Gambit.
This is one of the crazy things to me too, is that it's very difficult to be an aggressive AWPer on T side of Inferno. It might be one of the hardest maps to do it, actually. And a lot of teams actually just, they will maybe run the AWP here or there, but they don't try to have it all the time on their main AWPer just because it can offer a degree of rigidities, whereas you're much more agile with 5 AKs. We already saw all the kind of rotations that we saw out of QB Fire. If you have an AWPer, like typically the AWPer is at its strongest in a post-plant scenario on the T side of Inferno. So it's been impressive to see how well Waterfalls plays the AWP aggressively and how confident he is.
Gambit, Kevlar, CZs. They've left money in the bank. And this is a dangerous buy for Gambit. They have got 4 smoke grenades, so they're looking to play the long game, which I love to see. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Will QB be ready for it? Boomic is peeking top mid alone with the bomb in tow. Felina not far behind him, throwing it away. Smart stuff. Don't want to make the same mistake twice. Dozier is around the smokes on the arch position. 3 smokes remain for Gambit. Dozier doesn't have one of them. One's just been deployed by Mo on the B bomb site. Seemed to think a push was coming in because the smoke is right in front of B. So here we go, minute mark left, and Hobbit is last man with a smoke grenade, and he's towards the B bomb site. So if this push comes in, which is very likely, with the clock running down, they may feel like they're at the point of no return. They're really taking their time, QB, in this arch position.
They love the B splits, don't they? They love going through arch and CT.
Oh, Hobbit's just smoked off, though. He's just smoked off the B bomb site, so the bomb's going to rotate. They're not going to push through it. And with the positions of QB on Arch, this might just work out for them. Adren, though, he's in the boiler position. There's 20 seconds left. Which way will it go? This is not the bomb. He's still got bullets, though, in the magazine. And now the bomb's having to rotate around the Arch position. Hobbit needs to get into the site. He's around the library area. He needs to go faster because there's 12 seconds. He has to commit, try and stop the bomb from going down. But he's just waiting, taking random shots. And they might have missed their opportunity, the CTs. They might have missed their opportunity. 3 on 3. Do they go for it? Do they save what they have for a better buy in the next round since they've got Kevlar? Seems they might go for it. Hobbit's picks up an M4. Fitch is making his way into the balcony position. Hobbit's got a kit.
To survive this engagement first, to get that kit towards the site. And some damage being done here. Quick on the graveyard position is in trouble. Hobbit's way to be. Oh, that timing was really crucial. Mo, he's found himself in AWP. That's a great shot, but again, comes down to the slimmest of margins there for QB to win the round. Gambit really offering up a very good effort. And also, I loved how they dispersed their, or decided to disperse the pistoling players. We saw that they were reading the push from QB and also anticipated how much QB really enjoy the play in towards those B splits. And it almost makes you wonder if they should have actually not even smoked banana to some extent.
Yeah, I wonder about the money Gambit spent in the last round now, because Mo started this run with exactly 47.50. So he had money for AWP, no Kevlar. So he's gone for a rifle. So I think mistakes maybe were made by Gambit, because you want Mo on the AWP, surely. And they've got 2 UMPs. Again, when it was down to 3 on 3, if they save what they have, the Kevlar and so on those players, then maybe there are more rifles in this round. And there was a rifle picked up by Hobbit as well, but all was lost towards the end there. Not always one right way of doing things, and there's going to be a big duel on Banana soon. Adren gets taken down with his UMP, and Hobbit is blind. He's facing the wall. He's down. Mo still on the site. Probably wishes he had an AWP now, but he's got the M4. What can he do with it? Spotting Junker in the corner. Flashes there. He needs a lot of help going second oranges. Dozier's making his way in CT, but there's a smoke down. Is there a flash from Dozier? No, he's got no grenades, and down goes Mo.
Oh, this is a very desperate situation. Waterfalls catches the rotation through Banana. And now Dozier, all he can do is run away, try to save what he has. I got the bullets though, and that will be the end of him. Jimker with the pursuit. And QB5, they know how close they are. They're getting really loud again. Over to our left. And that push from Adren, I was really surprised because he made a pop flash, blinded everyone, then waited until everyone could see again, and then pushed. So I don't really understand that. Exactly, that's very strange. And that's sort of where the stack of cards started to fall down.
Now, Gambit have gone for Force Spy. They would rather not play against match point. Now, if they lost this round, if they lose this round, they're going to be at maximum loss bonus. So they could have had a monstrous buy in the next round, but instead they've got a buy which is weaker than their last buy, which didn't work out for them. So you can see how it's going. Trying shock and awe, but not quite there for them. 4 versus 3 though. They're still around to fight for here. But things have gone from bad to worse, really. And it looks like they're going to abandon the A site and just all stack B, although Hobbit's going to have a look towards top mid. Deploy a grenade there and make his way towards B as well. Just showing some presence towards A before they all move in together.
Not really in a good position after that mid push. I thought it was a pretty good idea, but QB played a really nice defensive setup. the second middle on lockdown, and that's sort of where Gambit were really putting most of their players, their weapons. So all they have to do is go together and they'll be fine at this point. QB about to move on to match point here. That would be absolutely insane. We can't count out Gambit just yet, though. They will be on maximum loss bonus, and I mean, the problem is with that is I think only Hobbit's actually really going to have all that much. Hobbit will have $4,500 after this round, and that is the most money of anyone. So they really need to save these Kevlars. It's such high priority to keep these Kevlars alive, because if they do, they'll have 4 rifles full utility. If they die, then they won't. So that's really the big difference there. QB, they've got plenty of money, and it would definitely service them well to try to get some kills. It would be very impactful if they get a couple of kills here. So I hope QB get aggressive. They should realize that Gambit is saving immediately, because there's been no presence, no threat, nothing from Gambit in a very long time on this round. And indeed, they're starting to send out the feelers there. Jimco will go towards Banana, perhaps. But QB is still holding the bomb site, still giving, perhaps, I think, way too much respect.
Well, maybe because Gambit went for it in the 3-on-3 in the previous rounds, where they lost everything. I mean, maybe QB expected them to hold on to what they had for a better buy, so perhaps it took them by surprise. I don't know. They're still going to have a crap buy. I don't know when we last saw a good buy from Gambit. Again, they got max loss bonus, but they're still not going to have an AWP onto Mo. Now you see QB really enjoying this land. Lots of shouting going on. But again, it's another difficult buy for Gambit. Adren has 3,900 before he buys. Is he back on the UMP again? What is he going to do? Got a tactical timeout, which has been called by Gambit. Margin for error is now nil. It's 0.
Yeah, things are looking really tough for them. I mean, they can absolutely turn the game around, force an overtime from this position, but I think we need to see just some better plays, more higher quality plays out of them. Again, you know, some of the efforts we've seen for aggression have not really been executed in the best ways. Again, you know, if you cast our minds back to that previous aggression from Adren, where he just peeks with nothing, basically throws a flash, shows that he's very close, and then peeks when everyone's has full vision again. Stuff like that, you know, it seems a little bit weird. Adren does go for the M4, actually. Gambit have a high amount of M4A1Ss if you compare them to every other team. Most people are on the M4A4 these days in professional Counter-Strike. There's a very fast take of Banana with all the utility. How far will they go? Quick wants it. He wants to go all the way. He'll get taken down by Mo, though, perhaps overstepping. But are they going to keep going here? Looks like the counter grenades will be enough to stop the push.
Smoke down in front of the B bomb site. Dozier there for support. Dozier's holding a flash, which would be deployed towards the pool area. It would allow Hobbit and Co to face in front of the flash. Always a strong flash to throw if you're rotating in from the CT position. It can make the difference. Jimka's going to be staying as the lurker now, and QB5 are rotating towards the A site. Smoke is replenished, but there is a gap. This area was made wider by Revolver in the new Inferno. So it's difficult for these smokes to be as effective as they used to be. Now, QB looking to give Gambit the kind of party they don't want on the A site. Fitch doesn't really have crossfire support. Adren is in this position, but he's got a lot to deal with, it seems.
Yeah, he just about spotted them. He doesn't really want to repeat this without a flash. Is there a flash for him?
Nope. Fitcher doesn't have any flashes.
Okay, no flashes. Yeah, that makes... See, that's the thing about having a lack of grenades there. Having to go for a raw peek versus a peek with flash, with flashbang is so huge. But here comes the push here up quad. It's just Boomich though, and he's going to try to sell this, and it has been largely sold here. We'll get taken down immediately, and the rotation will come back from Dozier, who was trying to float away from B in towards the A support, but now he's just covering the cross. Again, lack of grenades here from both sides. It's all about hitting the shots right now, and the numbers is with, as well as the time is with the Gambit side, and they'll be able to pick up the round, and it seems like QB just sort of ran out of ideas.
Yeah, maybe it's the pressure of yet another upset slowing QB down, but they've got the money to weather the storm. But now, finally, Gambit have a good buy. I mean, the T half was not amazing for Mo, and I didn't expect it to be. But the CT side is where Mo should be lighting the board up. And finally, He's got a sniper rifle. He's been quiet for the most part, but this is where Gambit can really flex their muscles. And if they're able to take this to overtime, I would think that they would have a lot of momentum going into that, starting with $10,000, get everything you want. So this is a really good spot for Gambit, but they need to be ahead of QB's game.
Yeah, I think you're very correct. I feel like it is, if they do get that overtime, they're heavily favored, at least that's sort of how I feel. I think a lot of the things that Gambit had to deal with, I think they just found QB Fire a little bit difficult to read. I think they just don't have that much experience against them. QB Fire are playing a different brand of Inferno to a lot of teams with some of the arch-heavy play that they've gone for. But we'll see whether, as you say, Mo can get that AWP rolling in, because that would be such a big difference. It's working Banana for now, and having Mo on Banana with an AWP really allows you to more safely rotate away a player, like cheat a player, an additional one towards A, if need be.
Early round Banana has been horrific for Gambit in the recent rounds, but this is a slower start. The odd grenade here and there, and Jumka will bide his time with an off angle, while QB use the clock towards the A site. Waterfall's having a look towards the car position, perhaps, with his sniper rifle, but QB seems to be waiting for Gambit to make a mistake or wonder why everything is so quiet, but they're not really doing that. Fitch and Dozier playing around the short position. They could play double pit if they want to later on, which they're currently doing. Often people will look for the crossfire. Even if they pick off one player in the pit, they'll focus on the site, so this can be a nice change. And now all 5 are focused on the A site for QB.
A set piece, here it comes. Grenades tossed in. How well will Gambit respond? They only have 3 players here. The 4th is far away, and the 5th, as there's no rotation just yet. Now the rotation's coming in. They must get the first cracks, and they are. It's looking quite good here so far. Still, Dozier doing more damage from the pit, and the Dren to finish from Graveyard. The support from B not even required. That is a much more confident-looking Gambit. And also a QB Fire who they were unable to find any edges in the early to mid round, and then forced into a position where they had to run a set piece. And Gambit seems very comfortable with that. So that could bode well, or bode quite well for Gambit now in this final round.
The double pit play worked quite well. After one was picked off, I think Dozier got a free kill. Hard to communicate the second player there, especially when they're taking fights at different times. And here we are. Still a good buy for QB. Can Gambit continue their momentum? Surely the worst would be behind them if they were able to take this to overtime. See raised voices now on the QB side. Although nothing in particular is going on. I think maybe perhaps just some hot heads making clear what needs to be done.
It's honestly very tense stuff when you play T-side Inferno. I always feel like, especially in these situations, it feels so hard to get that first advantage, that first pick. Waterfalls is looking for that though, but you can see, look at the change of approach from Gambit. They're playing way more passively than they were previously. And that does eliminate some of the variables that QB were creating with their pushes, with their arch takes and so on. And Gambit can just hold tight, trust in their setups, and await the push. And it may very well be the case that QB Fire go for a similar round to the previous one, but actually arch presence again.
Jumka still lurking towards Banana. Unclear as to what QB want to do. Adren with a 2-man spray now looking for the 3rd. The pre-fire is there. The last bullet will deliver the headshot. And that's the bomb in Arch. The bomb is miles away. And there's no bus for Jumka. He's got to make it on foot. 30 seconds, 1 versus 5. I think we're going to overtime. Walking into a crossfire, but only Fitch will be required. Dozier was there if needed, but here we are. And really, I think there is a strong advantage for Gambit at this point.
Gambit just seemed to deal well with pressure, James. I think it seems to be part of the family business, perhaps, as they managed to bring it all the way back. And again, as you mentioned, there's so many moments when their economy was ruined. They couldn't get good buys, but as you can see, Gambit, if they're able to win in overtime here, it would be the 4th major in which they go 2-0 in the groups. So no one wants to break a streak, James. No one likes to break a streak.
I love to break streaks. Mo will begin with the sniper rifle. It's already been purchased. We have some more discussion, a lot of discussion on the QB side, as you can see.
It's going to be really interesting to see what their approach is, because obviously now we've had the adaptation from Gambit. And not only that, is changed even more so because QB were often fighting against a Gambit that was feeling like we have to make plays early round because we don't have utility, because we have UMPs, all this business. And now, so like the whole playing field has changed completely here. And it has changed in the favor of Gambit, obviously being the team that then found success, brought themselves back into overtime. There's the inherent momentum there, but also in understanding better how QB play. And I think for Gambit, that was always the case. Working out what are their tendencies, what do they like to do, how do they want to open up the map, and so from that perspective, QB, they need to find something a little bit different now to be able to adjust to Gambit in their very passive approach in these rounds.
Right then, we said Adrenaline Waterfalls for the GoTV, but now I think it's time to keep an eye on Mo. Although Adrenaline's never a bad look. Let's see how it goes. All advantages for Gambit, I think most people will agree. Mo continues towards the B-bomb site. Tumka deploying some early grenades, and Mo won't get the first shot off, but he's got enough space to recover, to back off, and Tumka won't run to his doom. He'll just establish control of the banana position, and now that's 1 minute and 30 seconds where Gambit have to wonder how many players are around this corner.
And this is another interesting thing here. We see that Waterfalls is looking for a repeat there. It's a very cute boost. We saw that very fast timing from Jimka previously, so look at the adjustment from Gambit. They've eliminated the variables of any sort of plays there. They're just not allowing there to be angles that they can be shot from. So they're just saying, well, you know, we'll just hold the site. And then, so look at all the time that's being killed here. Waterfall's waiting for the peak, waiting for the peak. Lots of time is being killed, and that's something that can only serve to help Gambit. Now QB5, they take top mid. So now they are in the same position again. They've got all the options around the map. They have to decide which site to actually run a set piece into, and that is what Gambit are forcing them to do.
Adren staying on Speedway for the time being. He can see into Arch from the Speedway position, but now he's rotating back towards the B site. He's got one flashbang. It can go into the pool. There it is. You see it. QB, though, they're just waiting. There are 3 smokes down on the B bomb sites at the moment, and there are 4 QB fire players waiting. 30 seconds. Kvik going to a tree position, presumably to deploy grenades. There's a re-smoke of the CT area. Adren going straight through it. Perfect play from him. Getting a pick off, spraying. Can't see anything else, but there are 2 people on the site, and this is Carnage. QB walking into the Mincer.
And we see now the problem of the approach from QB Fire. They were not able to burn any utility from Gambit. Gambit were able to throw another smoke on Banana. Oh my God, Boomish going in right there, but still it's too little too late. And again, they had no pressure. We had a smoke from Gambit on Banana when there was, what, 35 seconds left. That basically kills the push, which QB were invested in. They've given up control everywhere else on the map. So perfect round from Gambit. And again, not giving opportunities to QB Fire. QB Fire have to create more pressure and force more grenades out than they are currently doing. They can't just play so passively and wait Gambit to push them. That's not what Gambit are going to do anymore.
QB Fire back on the buy. Boomich just trying to do some late damage to the C2 economy, which can matter in the rounds to come. We've got fast plays. Once again, QB going back to Old Faithful. This worked for them so many times. Very fast picks towards the banana position. Grenades will do big damage. Hobbit needs to stay alive, down to 6 HP now. And these are the rounds where Gambit were broken by QB Fire again and again and again in normal time. Just getting those grenades up, rushing up Banana. Gambit were caught out of position multiple times.
I think Gambit are trying to sort of play ahead of the curve here, maybe expecting an adaptation from their opponents and, you know, going for that very fast mid-play to go for a pick. I think that was really cool, but you can see how vulnerable they were in Banana when that happened. So, as you say, they've got to be really cautious about these initial fast plays from QB Fire, which the passive approach fixed. They didn't lose anything to it when they went passive.
Nice.
And Mo with a very strong flick shot, whittling down the numbers. 4v4, and QB want to go for B, but Mo's the only man here. This is, oh God, this is so bad for Gambit.
Yeah, I think Gambit were convinced that the threat of Mo would be enough to force the rotation, so they gambled on putting the rest of the team towards the A site. But it seems QB Fire don't respect Mo that much. He was quiet in the T half. And there we go. That should be the round. Gambit, will they go for it? They are repositioning. Actually, they've got money in the bank, so they're fine. I don't think they'll really lose anything by going for it here. Ooh, they're lining up for him. Waterfalls, very quick on the trigger finger. Gets the first shot, but not the second. Hobbit has to wait up the flames. 6 HP, still alive, this Hobbit. No grenades, no flashes, nothing for Gambit. Just raw fire, and it's not going to work out for them. Hobbit will save the AWP. Would be madness to try and 1v3 with 6 HP.
It's actually a sick play, stealing the AWP back. That's a really cool result, I think, for Gambit. That's pretty huge. That's obviously they lost their AWP on the bomb side, but then they stole Waterfalls as one. And it's again, it's something which gets a little bit awkward for the CTs to be able to afford in situations like this in overtime. So it's always nice. And now I wonder if they do go back to the ultra passive approach. Again, that's been very consistent for them. This is one of those cases where sometimes I think that teams, they find a solution to how another team's playing, and then they think, oh, they're going to figure it out, so we should change it up. But in reality, that other team still is working out how to beat it, and so you want to force them to beat that before you want to switch things up sometimes.
Trio of grenades flying through the window. That's not very nice if you're in your living room. QB will make their way into apartments. There's that second mid grenade once again, bouncing off the wall. This time it does a lot less damage. The burst through the smoke, really trying to take these players by surprise. Maybe with a read of 3 towards B. Smoke off to Arch, and there's 2 players in the site for Gambit. But this is not a situation where QB even need to commit. It hasn't cost them much to get this map control. They forced Gambit well away from top mid, and there's still a minute 10 on the clock to play with.
So here again is back to that really passive approach, and Gambit have 4 players towards A this time. This is really huge, and this is very important too, because we know how much they love to go Arch, and through the CT, Mo's covering that, but it's a good pick from Valina here, as now the Arch play comes in from the QB side. Just be very cautious that they don't spill out from CT. He's got to protect the rotation from B, but at the same time, that isolates players on the bomb site. Adren alone gets one. He needs the second one here. He really desperately needs one more kill, and there comes Mo from the side, able to light up quick, but there's more work to be done, and now he's the only man to do it. QB Fire looking strong here. What can Mo do?
It's the last round. He's got to push. 3 rounds and a half now in overtime. 1 versus 3. How does he not get traded? He doesn't get anywhere into that round. QB will lead going into the second half. So despite the momentum that we talked about from Gambit, it was in their hands, but it was taken away. It was snatched like a handbag in a busy street.
Yeah, I think maybe they overplayed their hand in the second round a little bit, but we'll see if it ends up harming them, because again, they had a pretty decent T side. And things are very different in overtime. I think there's a lot of teams and players out there that don't like overtimes because things get weird, James. I think that's generally how people would describe it. Things get weird.
Opportunity knocks for Quantum Bellator Fire. Freeze time. Pause has been cancelled. 15 seconds away.
I believe Bellator means warrior in Latin. Looked it up a few days ago. They're Quantum Warriors, James, and then there's Fire. They're Quantum Fire Warriors.
Maybe they're standing on hot coals, perhaps. Can they win this round, though? It's a very key round to win. This would give them a psychological advantage. Fitch making his way through the smoke. Witnessing that fire, but will he make his way through the flames? Vic and Jim Kurt towards the B bomb site. Waterfalls trying to rotate between both. 3 smokes down top mid at the present moment, but no action behind those smokes, so QB will be confident with a 3rd man towards the B bomb site.
I think one thing that was really annoying for Gambit on their T side was the plays from Waterfalls. He was all over the place, being really aggressive. However, this round he's been a bit more passive, as indeed we can note that he's just holding an angle here towards Banana. We would expect him to be top mid, and perhaps this is the sort of mix-up that may get that one kill that Gambit wouldn't expect. Maybe they think the AWP is going to be top mid. And is there something here on the edge of the smoke for Waterfalls?
See Hobbit trying to bait with the jump there. He's trying to expose himself, but the police will shoot him away. 40-second mark, and Gambit haven't really played their hands. So there's no 4th man on either side for QB. There could be a flash over the roof, which would completely blind Waterfalls. They do have some flashes, Gambit, but they're really playing this clock down. 28 seconds. Waiting for a curious CT, but not quite getting one. Now they know where Waterfalls is. The flash towards Pool, trying to buy time. Will they check for Jumka? If they can get into position with Waterfalls, they maybe won't. Finch will, but he won't get the kill. The trade is there, but there are 2 more people on the site. There's 1 down, and now they've got 13 seconds, and Kvik is really going to take them by surprise. Can they even get the bomb planted at this point? Do they have cover for it? They've got to fight for it. Oh, this is a disaster. 4 seconds, and it's not going to happen for them. They have played it very, very well. Kvik baiting his teammates like fish on the end of a hook. And there it is. There's the round for QB Fire. They played it very well indeed.
Oh my God, as well. And seeing that, okay, there's 2 people left alive, and then you see Adren's point of view, and he's like in the apartments. You're like, oh no, oh no. That's gone very wrong for Gambit. Adren unable to do anything there in the rounds. And QB Fire, they're 1 away. This is impressive, isn't it? Holding their nerve into the overtime, looking to break the streak of Gambit.
See the frustration there at the end of the round from Gambit. That might be the round that loses them the match. Jumka and Kvik getting aggressive. They're boosting on Banana. This would not be the surprise that Hobbit was looking for. The flashbang comes and goes, and Hobbit takes it in the face.
Uh-oh. Desperation surely begins to set in now for Gambit. They need a play to equalize. Very early pickoff from QB Fire. They can now play really passively, try to play things safer. They have the man advantage. The double ops, though, will not receive retake situations well. They won't be strong against set pieces with smokes. So these are things that QB Fire might be thinking about. And Boomich will try to get a bit of info there for his team as he plays into quad. He does have some cover as well. He's the most agile member of the A-bomb site. Considering that we have the AWP in the library, and also an AWP over towards B. How did Gambit open this one up? They may just go for a set piece here, but they don't have almost any grenades.
39 seconds, and they're already a man down. Waterfalls making a nuisance of himself in the arch position. Adren avoiding the flashbang, but is he quick enough to take Waterfalls out? He's proven to be quite fast himself. The smoke is down, jumps past immediately, wants to get through into this position before Waterfalls does, but Boomich will take him out from elsewhere. Waterfalls missing the shot, but the CTs are well equipped to defend this site. The clock's running down once again. The bomb's down, the bomb's up onto Mo, the bomb's down again, and it's Dozier, 1 versus 3. 30 seconds, he's blind, and that's a wrap. QB Fire, another upset. How far can they go?
Amazing, just jumping out their chairs. These guys, what a story, as you said, James. Perhaps a breakout event for them. Still many more questions to be asked, but the victory against VP, some would have shook their head and say, well, it's VP. But Gambit, they are definitely a menacing team. They've earned the respect of many, a very solid group of players with a lot of accomplishments, the previous major defending champions. And so, QB Fire, now people have to start to notice them.
This is not the tournament for Pick'ems. Thoughts of the desk after the break. Over here is a push, flashbang Zorinto, and Hobbit will spread the joy of the MP9 to all. QB playing at the Gambit Fiddle at the moment. Will Fitch get traded? He's done 2, he's done 3! That is massive from Fitch! 30 seconds, 1 versus 5. I think we're going to overtime. Walking into a crossfire, but only Fitch will be required. Did it have cover for it? They've got to fight for it. Oh, this is a disaster. 4 seconds, and it's not going to happen for them. They have played it very, very well. Kvik baiting his teammates like fish on the end of a hook. And it's dozier, 1 versus 3. 30 seconds, he's blind, and that's a wrap.
Welcome back to the E-League Major, everyone. I'm here with Waterfalls after Quantum Bellator Fire surprised everybody and took down Gambit. So, first of all, congratulations, Waterfalls. You guys are now 1 win away from becoming legend status or gaining that legend status. How much more satisfying is it to get this 2-0, taking down the previous major champions?
It feels really good. Like, Gambit is top 1 team. So, and everyone was saying like we won VP, like they're in bad form. So the VP played bad, not we played good. So we showed in this game like what we I forgot the word. Yeah, like what we made of, and like that we should be here. It's not like the luck. I don't know.
Well, this game was so intense. It was close in both halves. Can you walk us through the game and how, in the end, you were able to close out the win?
In the end, when the score was 15-12, I think they they understood how to play against us. They didn't try to play aggressive. They were saving their nades because we were playing slowly. But in overtime, I said that we should play a little bit faster. They threw their nades, and then they split the plans or something like that. Yeah.
Well, now that you've taken down both Virtus Pro and Gambit, does this give your team the confidence to take on any team here?
I don't know, yeah, but we're really confident in our game. We just don't want to we will play just our game. I don't know. Yeah, we're really confident now. Like with these wins, with the wins on the Prax, I don't know. It's really good for us.
Well, congratulations again, Waterfalls. That was super impressive performance. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Sue. Just a moment's silence on the desk. Everyone's pick'ems. It's just too much. It's just overwhelming. What can you say, guys? You know, I tried to hint yesterday that I thought this was going to be a close one. I still had Gambit to edge it, but I thought it might go the distance. But I'll tell you what, not only is this QB Fire playing so well right now, to have the fortitude when they were up against it, Gambit bring it back to overtime, to just be able to correct it, it's incredible. They're playing like a much more experienced team than they are.
Definitely, they've been very impressive so far. You know, you wouldn't expect from a team that we didn't see at all internationally to have as much composure as they have, to have as much confidence as they have. And you need to look towards Gambit and say where they were missing some of that towards the very end. You know, how they handled their economy towards the end of the game. They had a couple of very weird force buys, and it's due to luck to an extent that they didn't lose the game in regulation. But I agree, like Waterfall said perfectly in the interview, you know, Gambit took way too long to adjust. They kept playing aggressive in Banana on their CT side when QBF was just using Molotovs, nades, everything. And as soon as they started saving their utility for late round, that's when they started winning rounds on the CT side.
Yeah, and what did you make of it all?
I just think it's very impressive. I mean, this is an interesting chapter in Counter-Strike history, I would say. It's more evidence that there is a new generation of players coming up. And I mean, this from the CIS region as well. That's a really good sign, I think. I would try and, if people want to visualize why it might be hard playing against like a team like QB Fire, and the same reason why people find it hard playing against a team like Vega when they're not used to it, especially in a best of one, you see it in one of those rounds. I think it was the 23rd round where they had only one AWP on Waterfalls, and he just charges Arch, gets 1 kill, keeps charging into CT spawn, and gets the next kill. If you're on Gambit at that point in time, you have like almost sort of like an internal map in your mind, and you sort of know, okay, got to kill at Arch, fine. I have a rough idea about how far you can get before I have to sort of start, you know, instead of just running with my knife out, I can, you know, pull my, you know, I can start, you know, get ready for him to come. And they just beat that timing so hard because they just run and they're so fast. And that's hard to adjust for, you know, because almost every other team in the league is not going to play like that.
Yeah. I think that was the crucial round as well. But if QBF loses that round, Gambit probably closes out the game after that. And that's why Waterfalls is the MVP of that game by far. He had so much impact on both sides of the game, basically, with the AWP, that it was really the difference maker in this game for QBF.
And just a few final thoughts about Gambit. I still think they're going to be okay, but this is a missed opportunity, and the games are only going to get tougher from this point onwards, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You look at the group, you think, oh, QB Fire is the one team that we can just sort of like that we secure a win there, and then we move on. I definitely think they're going to be back very strong. I didn't actually think Gambit played, a terrible game, but but it sort of is what it is. I think they're going to be back strong.
I think for what they're trying to achieve, that was a very poor game from Gambit. The lack of understanding how you need to play strategically after a team that plays so slow. It took them way too long to adjust. And, if you can't do that against a team like QBF, who's an obvious underdog, you're going to have an even worse time against some of the favorites. But I think it's obvious it wasn't the Gambit from yesterday. So now it's going to be coming into tomorrow. What does Gambit actually look like? What's the middle ground here?
And final point, Anders?
Just one interesting question could be what happens if this had been a best of 3 instead. Would the adjustment that came late in this first map, if there had been a second and a third map, would that have been the turning point? I mean, I would argue maybe yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cloud9 had a bad day at the office yesterday against G2, and Sue sat down in the Cheez It Grooves lounge with Tarek to find out what they're going to do about it today.
Hey Tarek, yesterday's match for C9 against G2 was definitely the toughest one for you guys so far. We'll talk about that game in just a little bit, but leading up to that match, was there a specific way that you guys prepared for G2?
Yeah, we were really prepared for the map we got, Cash, and it was a good game for us, or a good pick for us, sorry, not a good game. And it just didn't go in our favor. There's a lot of close rounds, actually. The score doesn't dictate how the match went, in my opinion. It could have gone either way, but they were playing really well, and they hit their shots, so it sucks that it didn't go in our favor, but we're confident today, and we're looking forward to playing.
I was curious because when the score was 0-6, a timeout was called. In moments like that, what do you tell your team?
Well, we were trying to figure out what would work because it felt like, they were starting to build a lot of momentum, and that's the biggest reason we paused, actually, just to, give them a stop. Like, you guys are speeding up too fast. We need you guys to slow down. And, that was a big part of the reason we paused, and just to talk about it. And, we actually made it a 10-5 half, so it was doable. There's a big CT round that we lost. I think it was 10-7, where Shox came through a Molly on the boost, and that kind of screwed us over. But like I said, it could have gone either way.
Yeah. Well, that game's in the past now, and up next you're going to be going up against the Space Soldiers, who have been impressing everybody. I know you showed love for the Turkish team on Twitter, but now going up against them, how do you expect this match to go?
It's kind of unlucky, that we got Space Soldiers, right, since they are like the other Turkish team, and I want them to do well at this tournament. But we're gonna give our all today. We have to fight our hardest, and I think it'll be a good match. And I do hope, regardless of anything, that both of us make it out. It's the top 8.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck today.
Cool.
So, Anders, Cloud9, as I said, had a bad day at the office yesterday against G2, and that's not to take anything away from G2's performance. They were brilliant, but Cloud9, there was something a little bit off about them. This roster, for me, way too talented to lose against Space Soldiers, surely.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think there are some dangerous combos in this one. There are some questions I still have. I think Scar's been playing very well throughout, the tournament so far, but you obviously want to see him play at a high level. For me, it's still mostly about Stewie and Automatic. I think the combo between those two is so deadly. It's so hard to control, and they're just so good at their jobs. So, yeah, I think they're going to win.
I think barring that game versus G2, Cloud9 have looked brilliant so far, and the reason why they lost is because G2 looked even better. It's not one of those games where you beat yourself. You're basically outplayed, and I think that's something that people maybe need to realize a little bit when we talk about some of these matchups. Is when you play against a favorite, they're supposed to determine how much room you will have to work with. If they don't play well, that gives the opposing team a lot more room to work with. And I think it's the same situation here for Cloud9 versus Space Soldiers to an extent. I think Cloud9 have more ways to win the game. Space Soldiers have looked you know, much better as the tournament progressed with every passing game. Very, very close game yesterday for them versus SK Gaming. Only a couple of clutches, you know, determined the outcome of that particular map.
And we also are in the Terry era, you have to remember.
Yeah, absolutely. As it keeps coming up, I'll tell you, we joked about that initially. I think Tarek's shaping up to be a great in-game leader. He's really embracing that leadership mantle. But not only is he doing well with tactics and encouragement and leading the troops from the front, he's fragging while he's doing it, which is very rare in the current global CS climates.
Yeah, but if you'd asked me, I'm glad nobody did, but if you'd asked me to make a prediction, sort of a serious prediction, once he joined the team, I would have said that his sort of perceived stardom going into it came from playing on lesser teams and came from playing sort of, you know, public games and scrims and stuff like that. I would have said, yeah, this was never going to be anything like this. So I'm super impressed. Yeah,
absolutely. So, Yanko, Space Soldiers, one of the issues we've talked about is that, you know, maybe they don't have the strength and depth of some of the other teams that are here, but they were very, very close against SK Gaming yesterday.